a informational video for you guys. It's about 5 reasons why I think you should buy an Infiniti Q50 or Q60 as your next car, whether you're looking for a performance or a luxury entry model car. I think this platform offers a little bit of both worlds, and you will not be disappointed, especially with the aftermarket support that's out there if you're into that kind of thing. But 5 reasons why you should get this car. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, it's gonna be, I'm gonna give it to you guys straight, and that is the price. The starting price for this car is in the mid to upper 30 grand for the Q50, which is the 4-door, and I believe about 41 grand for the coupe. Now, if you look at any other car in this segment compared to that car, like entry model, you know, Hyundai coupes or Mercedes coupes or BMW coupes, and by the way, I only mentioned Hyundai because they're actually stepping their game up as of recent. So I'm talking about, you know, like the Kia Stinger, all that kind of things, the sedan and coupes. Let's bring them all together, sedans and coupes. I think the first reason you should get this car is because of the price. It's very affordable, and when I say affordable, is if you're into this, if this is your price range, this is an affordable price range for everything you're going to get with this car. With that being said, you're going to get a lot of standard features that other car companies are not going to give you. It's going to be an option, and you know how we hate about options, because 9 times out of 10, if we want something on the car and it doesn't come with, it's paired up with like 10 different things, so you pay like top dollar for 9 other things you really don't want, except, you know, maybe Bluetooth may not be standard, and you're paying for Bluetooth, but at the same time you're getting XYZ that you're not really wanting in the car. So the first thing is the price and the standard package the car comes with. As a base model, you get plenty of features that I think you'll be quite happy with. Now, the Q50 has less standard features than the Q60, being a sedan. The coupe, I believe, comes standard with the Bose system, so that's something that's really good. Even if you get a base model, you'll still have that great 14 speaker system in the car that sounds absolutely amazing. Now, it's no hardened carbon or anything like that, but it is a Bose system, and I think you'll overall be pretty well happy with what you're gonna get for just a base model price. Now, I told you guys I'm gonna give it to you guys straight. So number 2 is gonna be performance, performance, performance. I can't stress that enough. This car from the factory came with advertised 300 crank horsepower and 300 torque. Now, when I put this car in a dyno, because I was curious, like a lot of other people were, we put this car in a dyno, and it actually made 300 wheel horsepower. It was like 298 wheel horsepower and around 303 torque to the wheels, which that was the advertised crank figure. So Infiniti left a lot on the table. So you're getting actually a 300 wheel horsepower car within today's day of being an all-wheel drive. In this actual car here, you're looking at about 330, 340. I'm just guessing. It could be a little bit more. But at the same time, performance that the Infiniti left on the table for this car, it's insane. Now, this is the sport model, not the red sport. So if you guys are looking for a red sport, you'll probably like it even more. That they call it the RS400 for 400 crank horsepower, and I think that one is actually a little bit more in line with what's advertising. The dyno for a stock red sport 400, you're gonna get about 360 to 370 wheel horsepower, right in that area, depending on where you're at, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and about 360 foot-pounds of torque, right in that area. So that's pretty standard for a 400 crank horsepower car, which is advertised. And I think overall, if you're someone who's looking to, you know, just buy a stock car, not do anything to it, you're just gonna drive it, you want something quick, something fast, get the Red Sport 400. That's the car for you. If you don't plan on modifying it, any of that kind of stuff, it comes with everything you need. It comes with a lot more standard features, and we talked about, you know, the price being Red Sport. It's going to be towards the top of the line depending on the package you get with it. So for number 2, we're going to go with performance. Number 3, and just because I'm making this number 3 doesn't necessarily mean it stacks number 3 on my list. I think this was important for every consumer. So if you're just someone, like I mentioned in the last one, performance, if you're just looking for someone who's the opposite, you're just looking for a daily commuter, something to drive around maybe on the weekends, or, you know, it may be your daily driver to go to work and whatnot, I would highly suggest getting a premium, a sport, a Red Sport model, any trim that you would like. I think on a daily basis, every model will achieve around 20 to 21 city if you drive it, you know, neatly. If you don't, you know, drag the car everywhere you go like I do, don't be like me. But if you drive the car like a normal person every single day, you should get around 20 city MPGs and around 26 to 27 highway, which in today's day, 27 miles a gallon to the highway in a twin turbo V6 car, I say that's pretty decent. They also, Infiniti does also offer a 2-liter motor, which is a variant from Mercedes-Benz that Mercedes and Infiniti had going on. So that motor, I believe it does like 29 miles to the gallon or something like that, but it is a 2-liter turbo. It's a little bit slower. It only comes with 200 horsepower, but I still think it offers a lot. Those people who are looking into getting, you know, those good MPGs on their daily commutes and whatnot, you know, a nice luxury car with nice features that they can enjoy at the same time, not break the bank every time they go to the gas station. Moving on to number 4. Now, I think I mentioned this one before. It is the Bose system. Without the Bose system, I mean, personally, me, if you're someone who likes to listen to music while you're driving and you like blasting it, but you want to hear that quality sound every time you're driving, that's me. So the Bose system was definitely a deal breaker in this car, or any kind of, you know, higher end sound system. Not saying that Bose is not like a top end system, because I know there's better out there. But for now, the Bose system in this car is really good. You get a 14 speaker system. You get a ton of tweeters. You get in your doors, you have 10-inch speakers. You have 10-inch subs in the back, on the rear deck, and it sounds phenomenal. I mean, you get really good surround sound settings in here. You get a lot of road noise that's completely taken out of the equation when the system is on. I feel like the road noise just goes away and I get in tune with the car, and I no longer have to hear about, you know, hearing the highway noise or any of that type of stuff. I feel like I'm in a concert every time in the front cabin. So the sound system for me was definitely a deal breaker. Like I said, it's a sporty car, entry-level luxury. And when I say entry, I mean, I may be a little bit sugar-coated, because this car has a lot of luxury features that I think a lot of people would enjoy. The sound system being the other one. So I think that without the sound system, I wouldn't be able to say I'm going to get an Infiniti Q60 today and take it home with me if it didn't come with this type of sound system. Number 5, my favorite one of all of them. It is simply the aftermarket support. Now, this is going to take me a while to explain, but I'm going to tell you guys why it is that I got an Infiniti Q60 Sport. So with that being said, as I mentioned, the Red Sport model is the top of the line model. Comes with the factory, you know, with a few more things that make it a bit of a more performance car on paper than the regular Sport model. So if you're someone who doesn't want to tune your car, who doesn't want to have any aftermarket stuff in your car as far as performance or any type of stuff, then you definitely should go get the Red Sport 400 and enjoy the car. It's a really fast car. You will enjoy it. By any means, I am not knocking the model. I simply waited a couple of years for these cars to be on the market before I pull the trigger on mine. So this is the Sport. Both cars, when they're tuned, achieve the same amount of power. The same amount of power. So I'm gonna tell you the difference. So from the factory, your Red Sport 400 comes with about 15-16 pounds of boost, I believe. As opposed to the Sport comes with about 10.5 pounds of boost, which gives a difference in power, as you guys know. Now, with that being said, the Red Sport also comes with a second water pump for your intercooler system, and it also comes with, I believe, this is highly speculated, but I think it's true, the final gear is different. Final gear ratio is a 313 in this car, and not in this car, in the Red Sport, as opposed to this car, which is a 293. Those three things are the difference between the Sport, Red Sport, and the regular Sport model. I honestly didn't think it was that big of a difference for me to pay an extra 6, 7, 8 grand MSRP for a car that I'm gonna just tune anyway and achieve more power than it was stock. And they're both motors are exactly the same. It's just a different factory tune. So with that being said, this is the Sport model. It is tuned now. Now I do have some bolt-ons, but if I were to tune a Red Sport in this car side by side, I can guarantee you they will be right around the same amount of power. So with that being said, this car does have bolt-ons. So I mentioned aftermarket support. I have lower downpipes. I have a full exhaust system. I have an intake system, and I also have a big heat exchanger from AMS Performance. Now that heat exchanger alone, pretty much if you have that, forget about that secondary water pump that the Red Sport comes from. You can forget about that. You don't need that. Anybody tells you that you do, they don't know what they're talking about. So just upgrade the factory heat exchanger, which by the way, it's hilarious. It's tiny, which explains why this car heat soaks so much prior to tuning and installing a heat exchanger. So that's all taken care of now. This car, as I mentioned in a previous video, it made 450 wheel horsepower and 485 foot-pounds of torque. Now, as I mentioned, 300 to 450 horsepower, and then 300 torque to 485, and that's 185 foot-pounds of torque more than the car was meant to come from the factory. Given the fact that I'm driving this car every single day, back and forth, I drive it pretty hard. I enjoy the way I drive it. It has not broken down. I don't see any signs of wear and tear. I am absolutely stunned how much Infiniti left on the table for us to enjoy this car. I mean, I think I pretty much added 50% of the power back into the car, and it's still not topped out. I think I'm at a pretty good safe level, a stopping point for right now as far as power, with upgrading some things like, you know, drive shaft, maybe internals in the future and stuff like that. So that'll be content for another video, but let's get back on topic. The aftermarket support in this car is super duper good. I mean, you have plenty of companies making simple bolt-ons for this car that'll just increase the power right away, and of course the tune is the biggest one. And aside from performance, let's talk about you know, body stuff. There's tons of spoilers and you know, body kits and lips and splitters and all kinds of stuff. Me personally, I'm not into all that stuff. Like, I just do it sometimes because it gives the car a decent look, but it's not really, if it's not going to give me a benefit some type of way in the car, then I really don't buy it, because I need to see a benefit. I need to see a return from my investment in something like that. But you know, there's people who have a taste for that type of stuff. You know, stance cars, they look good with that type of stuff. Me personally, I have a splitter. I haven't even painted it. It's flat black and it's on there just for looks, and other than that, I really don't care what happens. For me, it's just stop and go. So with that being said, the aftermarket support on this car has been great so far. I'm gonna name off a couple of companies who I personally I've been to, and I want to thank them for giving us the support that we've gotten so far. So let's start off, without further ado, Z1 Motorsports, based out of Georgia. They're great. They have a lot of products for this car. John Parham and Matt Yates, by the way, shout out to you guys. You're always pretty helpful when it comes to this car and questions that we may have in regards to your products. And let's see, RT Tuning in Montgomery, Pennsylvania. So we have James Coyne up there. You have Vince Hefner, the tuner. So those guys are great. I took my last car, I drove 9 hours to them to tune my car last time, and absolutely enjoyed it. So shout out to those guys up there doing great work up in the East Coast. Of course, we can't leave AMS Performance out, based out of Chicago. I took this car. In another video, you guys can see my whole experience. Their shop is great. Their customer service is great. They're working on improving this platform every day. There's more things coming out for this platform. I couldn't be more excited for that. Hopefully, you guys will see some of those new things on this channel here pretty shortly. And on top of that, on the West Coast, we can't forget about you guys. We have Nick from Soho Motorsports. You guys just came out with the new exhaust system for the car. You guys have been tuning these cars. Specialty Z Sebastian out there in the West Coast, you guys are killing it. I see a bunch of Q50s and Q60s just killing it. Plenty of power coming out of those shops. So shout out to all of you guys supporting this platform. I know the thousands of us on the Facebook page that we're always, you know, discussing these type of things back and forth. We really don't take a moment to step back and think, you know, these people are really helping us achieve our dreams and goals and whatnot when it comes to our cars. So I would just want to say thank you to you guys. And with that being said, those are the 5 things that I like about buying this Infiniti Q60. If you guys have some different opinions and whatnot, I'd love to hear them. Maybe there's some questions you guys may have in regards to trims and whatnot. If you're in the market for purchasing one, please leave a comment and let me know, and we can go from there. With that being said, that's it for this video. I just wanted to get in touch with you guys and let you guys know why is it that I bought this car, and you know, why is it in the channel today. I feel like it's going to be here for a while. I don't plan on getting rid of this car unless something catastrophic happens, and then I have a feeling that I'm just going to upgrade the car anyways. Probably upgrade the bottom end and go from there and really do a high performance build that I've always wanted to do. So, but you know, that type of stuff takes time, but that's in the future. I don't want to spoil any future surprises that might be coming to the channel. But with that being said, this video is done. I'll see you guys in the next video.